I'm hooked on the show Pawn Stars, and I like the cast, and I like to call Rick Harrison my friend. My friend Rick Harrison, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Well, now, let me ask you to a degree. All right. I want you to tell everybody, why aren't you doing really, really great?
Apparently, a few years ago, I discovered that I'm pretty good at making television shows. And I've gotten a few shows on the air, and I wanted to do a show in Southern California. There's a place called Glamis Sand Dunes. It's 100 square miles of sand dunes right around that. It's this really weird subculture. I've been doing it for years. On busy weekends, this little town of like 20 people, 100,000 people go there. On a regular weekend, big weekends, you can get 200,000 people there. And it's everybody from guys in $500,000 motorhomes with these giant trailers full of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of toys they run around the desert in, to a small family in a beat-up pickup truck pulling a small trailer, living in tents with one little dune buggy that's not worth $500. And I wanted to film a show down there. And, a lot of people don't realize this, but just your low-budget reality show will employ over 100 people. Mm-hmm. So, I met some people out there. I saw some interesting characters I could put in the show. It's on government land. They're run by the BLM, the federal government. And I want a film permit. I'm going to put over 100 people to work minimum. And basically I was told no. And they wouldn't even give me an answer till a couple of days ago. I found out, not even a couple of days ago, I found out yesterday, their reasoning is, well, budget cuts.
Well, what does that have to do with you?
That's all they will tell me. The insanity part is, I'm going to give the government money, and then I'm going to employ a bunch of people that's going to pay income tax.
Oh, man. Do you think this is all intentional? I mean, they're not giving you a real reason here.
They're not giving me a real reason. I think it's all political, and that's everything. I'm on television. I'm a celebrity. I got a fan base that goes all the way across the spectrum. And, for the past few years, I've tried not to voice my opinion on everything, but it's getting to the point where I just can't hold back anymore. It has.
All right, be careful. I don't want you to get in trouble here.
You know what? There's that point in your life where you just have to speak up. This is political because they're doing things. Something like that. No film permits. That's going to go to their base. I mean, that's going to go to everyone in Hollywood and everybody else, and they're going to say, these darn Republicans. That's what's happening. I'm just.
Do you think? Do you think if this was some liberal actor doing some show about XYZ that they would have a problem getting a permit?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they'd have a problem. This is 100%. It's political, because to say that it's because of budget cuts, I mean, what they can't afford the 50 cents to print the permit on when they get hundreds of dollars a day to film there?
Plus, it's not like the BLM has been emptied. That's one damn big agency.
It's a massive bureaucracy. I know that. Everyone in most people in Nevada, especially the mining industry, and a lot of other people, do not consider BLM their friend a lot of the time.
Yeah, and they're still there, harassing people there.
Yeah.
Well, now, let me ask you this. You have over 50 employees, correct?
I think at the moment I have 63 in my store. 63.
So this healthcare law is going to affect you too, I would assume. Over 50.
Yes, it's definitely going to affect me. And the problem is we don't know exactly what it's going to do. I mean, me or none of my employees have time to read a 2,700-page bill and then another 20,000 pages of regulations.
Mm-hmm.
My director of operations literally told me we're going to have to hire a consultant just to figure out what we have to do.
And you're still a small business. I mean, you have over 60 people. I mean, you're not IBM here. So, you got to figure all this stuff out. And, you're not alone. There's millions of small businesses have to figure this out.
It's insanity. I mean, if the government let us do business, okay, and let us be oil independent, I truly believe that if government just stepped out of the way, we would have a trade surplus in this country. We'd be energy independent. We would have full employment, and there would be so much money out there that basically, like it used to be in this country, there would be charitable hospitals all over this country. There would barely be a healthcare problem.
Mm-hmm. You're pretty libertarian in the way you live and the way you think, aren't you?
I'm a total libertarian. I believe the federal government should make sure that no one's invading our borders, regulate real interstate commerce, not what they call interstate commerce, and what's listed in the Constitution. That's all they should be doing. I don't think they should be involved in education. I don't think they should be involved in health care. And I think this health care bills, I don't see how they can call it constitutional. I think it's a crime that the Supreme Court did this. I think every one of them all 5 should be impeached.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
I know.
Well, let me ask you this. People are very curious about you and your family and the show and so forth. We've talked about it a little, but people come and go, when they're listening to radio. So I want you to remind everybody how you started.
Literally, me, 1981, my parents went broke, and we lived in San Diego. My dad had a real estate company. He just retired from the military. We moved to Vegas. We had nothing. My dad was retired from the Navy, had a small pension. He had a few $1,000s left over from selling the house. We opened up a small coin shop. And literally, me and my mom set up at the swap meet on the weekend and sold stuff. My dad ran the coin shop. We were dirt poor. And it was years and years and years of work. No one handed us anything. We were not born with money. When I was born, I was brought home to a trailer that sat in my grandparents' backyard. Mm-hmm. And, my dad served 3 tours in Vietnam because I was a really sick kid, and he couldn't leave the military because he needed the medical for me. Mm-hmm. And if you read my book, and I talked about government health care in that book. I was a very sick kid, and my dad was in the military, so I had military hospitals my whole life, government health care. Mm-hmm. It was a nightmare. I would go see the doctor. Me and my mom would get at Balboa Hospital in San Diego at 7:30 in the morning, and we would leave at 4 for a doctor's appointment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how did you start what is now your pawn shop?
How I got my pawn license, that was great. Me and my dad had a small second-hand store. We always wanted a pawn shop, so I read the city code, basically, and what had happened back in the 1950s, the good old boys got together and made it so that they would issue one more pawn license when the city population got to 250,000. They obviously never thought that was going to happen. But in the late 80s, Vegas had really grown. So I started calling a city statistician once a week. And in April of 1988, he told me, yeah, we believe it's over $250,000. 5 minutes later, as a city business license.
And not only that, a lot of what you know, you're self-taught. You read an enormous amount, right?
Yeah, that's what I do. When I was a kid, I had epilepsy. I was really sick. I was in bed a lot. We were, middle income, lower middle income when my dad was, off to sea somewhere. So there was only one TV in the house. It was downstairs. I read books. Mm-hmm.
Now, by the way, the book, he's not hawking the book, folks, but it's a great book. We've talked about it before, Licensed to Pawn. We'll link to this because yours is the American dream. So when you come on this program and you say, look, we're trying to film an episode of the show in Southern California. We're going to employ more than 100 people. We get an answer, flat out no. They're talking about the sequester. It's not going to cost the government a damn cent. You're saying, what's happening to my country?
Literally. I do very well. And for years, I brag about the fact, every single one of my employees I give insurance to. I tried to make sure that, if I hire someone part-time and they're great, I try to make sure they're a full-time employee within a few months. Mm-hmm. That's been a real point of pride in my life. And it's getting to the point where I don't know if I can do that. They just hold you back on everything. It gets really frustrating. And like I said, I've never gone on I've tried to watch my P's and Q's. I got publicists and press people and all that. No, Rick. And I'm just beginning to get to a point in my life where I'm saying, come on. I mean, if you help people, I just can't stand the stupidity and the craziness. Government is supposed to work for the people.
Let me ask you this. Does your father know you're on this program saying this stuff?
You know what? I didn't tell anybody at work because there would have been a
fight.
Thing storm.
Well, you're really not being that political. What you're saying is capitalism works, the free market works, the government has to stop strangling small businessmen and women, and that will unleash, liberty, opportunity, wealth creation. That's what you're saying, and what's wrong with that?
I know. Well, that's basically what I'm trying to say. I mean, I am a history buff. I mean, it's not only that they beat up on small business, they beat up on medium business, large business. There's banks all around this country, small banks around this country that I find it insane that the FDIC will close down a small bank and then a big bank they will just rescue completely.
You're right. That's ridiculous.
We have the government that's down on business, people with money. I know someone else who did that. His name was Lenin.
Yes.
And, he blamed the banks, aka the Jews. He blamed the intelligent people, the intelligentsia,
Yeah.
Let's re-educate everybody. And I just feel like that's what's happening to our country.
Well, listen, I want people to know you're a great guy. It's a wonderful, wonderful program, Pawn Stars. It's on 10 p.m. Mondays, and it reruns all the time. I'm sitting there staring at it endlessly, by the way. And it's just great.
150 countries, 32 languages.
It's absolutely terrific. All right, brother. Well, God bless you.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on and letting me vent.
All right, man. Take care. Keep your head down. All right. All right. See you later. He's a good man. Very good man. And he's right. He's talking about economic liberty and individual opportunity and wealth creation. That's all he's doing. He's another guy speaking out because his business is going to be punished, and he doesn't want to lay his people off. It's very, very important. That was Rick Harrison, Pawn Stars. I'll be right back.